What's up, guys? New Battlefield update. Mixed bag of things here. We have some extremely important updates with audio, visibility, that sort of thing. And then we have some extremely questionable changes that are coming to one of the main game modes of Battlefield 6. These patch notes are pretty long, so let's get right into it. If you want to keep up to date with everything Battlefield 6, this is the channel for you. Be sure to hit that sub button, hit the like button, and swing by the stream. I stream every single day on this YouTube channel and at twitch.tv/enders. All links are in the description. First things first, for people that are wondering, this update is not out as of this video coming out. If you're watching it on the day it comes out, December 7th, this update officially releases on December 9th. Alongside the final leg of Season 1 called Winter Offensive, we get a snowy version of Empire State, a new limited time multiplayer and gauntlet mode selection, a new melee weapon, portal updates, and we get a new 11-tier battle pass alongside that. So not much new in terms of real, important content, if I have to be honest with you, but, you know, it is what it is with these live service games. They're just simply never going to be how we all remember premium Battlefield games being, and of course, the gaming scene in general has changed so much since then. The first big improvement area in this update has to do with audio. They said, in this update, we've made a wide range of audio improvements, including a dedicated tuning pass on footsteps to make movement clearer, easier to locate, and more readable at different distances. We've also continued addressing performance and memory issues that could cause sounds, such as footsteps or vehicle audio, to drop out or fail to play, especially during large-scale Battle Royale matches. They go on to say they've adjusted some memory priorities, so some sounds in the game play over other sounds in the game, and they'll play more consistently. Just for instance, let's say before, hearing a jet in the distance was a higher priority sound than hearing a footstep next to you. In this update, the combat sounds such as footsteps, gunshots, that sort of thing will be higher priority, and things that perhaps aren't as important, like vehicle sounds in the distance, like ambient sound, that will be lower priority. Then later down in the change log, there is an audio section dedicated to footsteps entirely, and it just has so many changes. Number one, they balanced enemy-specific layers for clearer cloth and gear cues, further reduced or removed the momentary dampening of enemy movement audio triggered by damage, low health states, game notifications, or occlusion effects. They improved distance-based acoustics for clearer separation between close, mid, and far ranges, improved distant world reflections to better convey space and positioning, increased enemy movement audio at distance for greater readability, and a ton more changes. If you guys want to read the full list, I will of course link the patch notes in the description of the video. The TLDR here is, we better be able to hear footsteps once this audio update comes out. With all of these changes, with all the work they have listed here, it sounds like if we can't hear footsteps after this, I don't really know if we ever will be able to. Now, I'm going to skip a couple things here, then come back to them later in the video to get to basically what inspired the thumbnail and the title of this video, which is the changes to a select mode in Battlefield 6, Breakthrough. Breakthrough has become a very popular game mode in Battlefield. It is a linear sector-based game mode with attackers and defenders, and it's no secret that it's sort of a love-hate mode, but in Battlefield 6, it's also not a secret that a lot of the maps and sectors and capture zones and just the overall balance of it needed to be adjusted. I play Breakthrough as my main game mode in Battlefield 6, so I have hundreds of hours of experience in this mode, and from my experience, I can tell you with certainty there is definitely a preference as to what side you are on in this mode. So much so that if I load onto a map and I see that I'm playing defense, I'm inclined to leave and then re-queue to get attack. That's how miserable and boring the defender experience is on Breakthrough more often than not. Particularly if you're playing solo. But it's pretty funny because if you load into a defense game on Breakthrough with a full squad of competent people, you can actually flip it on its head and turn defense into one of the most boring spawn shooting simulators of all time, where you just spawn trap them for 15 to 20 minutes until the game ends, which of course is incredibly boring. Attack is by far the preferred side in Breakthrough, and with that being said, the changes they made to this mode are just absolutely fucking shocking. You read through the changes, and you see that they changed some capture points to give the attackers better footholds, or maybe the defenders a better way of understanding where you could actually attack the point to regain the foothold if you're trying to retake the point. Then you scroll down and read the specific map changes, and you see that they are removing a lot of defensive options for people that are playing defense, like on Manhattan Bridge. They removed defender-sided vehicles in Sector 2 and 3, and they added additional attacker vehicles. Same thing in Mirak Valley. They removed defending vehicles in every single sector, and then, if that wasn't enough, they went ahead and added vehicles to the attacking side in specific sectors as well. And perhaps the most insane change of all, listed in this patch note, is the Liberation Peak changes. They removed the defensive tank on Liberation Peak, when Liberation Peak attackers already had, 4 tanks available to them? And on top of that, they added 2 attacker IFVs in Sector 5. What the fuck? What are they doing? What is DICE doing? They're creating an issue that they're going to have to address later. They are literally making the game mode more unbalanced for absolutely no reason. So, as far as I'm concerned, after this update goes live, defense was already rough. Now, leave every single defense game you're loaded into on Breakthrough, and honestly, the real course of action is to not play Breakthrough, I don't think, ever. I think Breakthrough, as of this update, is potentially just a dead game mode that has so much inherent imbalance that it's just unplayable. And, again, they made this a problem. Like, they did this, and they're going to have to fix this in the future. So, rip Breakthrough. I think, the real course of action is you're just not going to be able to play Breakthrough anymore after this update. Now, moving on to the player changelog, there is one change in particular that I really want to highlight here, and that is the fact that they fixed an issue causing soldier movement to feel slow while walking on uneven terrain. Oh, this change has so many good implications for gameplay. I can't tell you how fucking annoying it is trying to strafe on an uneven surface in this game. It's like you gain 1,000 pounds. So I'm really glad to see that they fixed that. Some other massive changes within this player section is they improved hit registration readability when multiple players were within close proximity, and possibly the biggest positive change in this entire update, they improved how recoil and aim input interact, resulting in more reliable accuracy when compensating for recoil. Those of you that don't know what this means is there is a mechanic in the game right now that is confirmed to be a mechanic by the developers that essentially makes it so the recoil of your weapon is actively affecting your effective sensitivity while you're trying to shoot a target in Battlefield 6 and track it whether it's going left to right. This is honestly unacceptable, and it shouldn't have taken this long to get addressed. In fact, the patch note listed that I just read to you isn't even the correct course of action. The correct course of action is to entirely remove this interaction. Under no circumstances should recoil ever affect your aim or the feel of aim. That is just an entirely absurd mechanic that creates totally unnecessary inconsistencies and strange game feel. So while I am happy to see it addressed, it needs to be removed, like entirely. This should never be a thing in the game, and I'm really going to harp on it for a long time. So moving on to some incredibly questionable weapon changes. Apparently they reduced recoil magnitude but increased recoil variation on the M250, NVO, RPK, SG553, and SOR300SC. These weapons now perform less effectively at long range, with the SG553R receiving the most noticeable adjustment. Okay, number one, I could see an argument for perhaps nerfing the M250, but let's not act like this weapon was beaming out to 100 meters easily. You know, the weapon wasn't the easiest gun in the game to control, but the one that really confuses me, actually there are 3 that are really confusing me. They nerfed the NVO, the RPK, and the SOR300SC, and I understand the nerf is basically just increased recoil variation, which probably means it has more impactful horizontal recoil or just a harsher recoil pattern. But again, The NVO, the only thing going for the NVO is the fact that it has a 3 bullet to kill range, and I think it only has a 3 BTK range out to 5 meters. Past that, it actually has pretty bad damage drop-off, and the RPM isn't really competitive outside, I don't know, like 30 meters. The RPK nerf is just dumbfounding. Like, I really don't understand why they would ever nerf the RPKM. This gun was not overpowered in any way, shape, or form. And then maybe the most confusing one is they nerfed the SOR 300SC. That gun is dog shit. Like, that gun is so bad I haven't even leveled it up past level 10. And then when it comes to the SG553R, yes, it is absolutely one of, if not the best carbine in the game. However, it shares a damage model with the SCW10, correct me if I'm wrong, and the SCW10 just has better time to kill than it in close range. And it isn't like the SCW10 is a slouch at range either. People are using it as a meta weapon in the Battle Royale, so I don't know. These weapon changes just really don't make much sense to me. And like I said at the beginning of the video, this update has some good stuff in it, but there's a lot of stuff that just is super head-scratching. Now, moving on to some gadget-specific changes, the mortar actually got some big attention in here. They have essentially just buffed the mortar from what I can gather. They fixed an issue where the fire rate was slower than intended, so that will definitely improve its consistent performance. They fixed an issue where the smoke shell clouds were smaller than intended, and it just is a lot of bug fixes with the mortar, so the mortar should be in better standing now. And then the supply pouch, oh my god. They took the supply pouch out back. Now, for those of you that don't know what the supply pouch is, it was basically an unlockable gadget for the support class that allows you to throw it on the ground, and it started instantaneous health regen. Or so we thought. Actually, the fact that the supply pouch instantly started health regen was a bug, and that was the only positive thing about the supply pouch. So after this update, if you're using the supply pouch, you are actively throwing. And keep in mind, this nerf or bug fix, quote-unquote, to the supply pouch is yet another nerf to aggressive gameplay in Battlefield 6. The skill gap in this game, the skill ceiling for this game, is already so low. Aggressive gameplay is already so heavily hindered and nerfed, and now you can't even use the supply pouch aggressively. It really is just a fucking shame. And speaking of things that are a shame, a lot of people were criticizing this update for not including a larger vehicle pass, and yes, if you read the vehicle section of this update, there are only 6 vehicle-related patch notes, and as a lot of you know, vehicles in this game are one of the largest, most fundamental issues present in the game right now. I understand they can't fix everything in one update, but damn, like 6 changes? Like, we can't make some slight improvements or some balance changes somewhere here and there, just tweak some numbers temporarily. Overall, this patch has some great things. This patch has some terrible things. I think Breakthrough is pretty much going to be unplayable on defense after this update, which is really just a complete shame. I don't really know what they're doing. I think they're going to have to fix that pretty quickly, actually. So let me know what you think about this update in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and guys, I'm playing in a $650,000 tournament for RedSec for Battlefield 6. EA invited me to be a team captain. Watch your boy compete on December 10th, and I have a warm-up tournament on December 8th as well. Follow the Twitch streams. I'll be streaming everything. All links in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.